Welcome to the Xavion Factor, where I share my world with you through extraordinary eyes. I'm the host that puts the Xavion in the Xavion Factor. My name is Xavion, and we are back another week. Thank you for staying with me, folks. I appreciate your love and support for those that are listening. I'm trying to get the word out there more, get more people listening to the podcast and communicating with me more. I just realized that for a while now, and I'm not sure how long, but I was not receiving emails directed at my website for some reason. If you tried to send me an email in the last, I don't even know how long, especially since I've been back the last few weeks, I have not been able to get them. There was a problem with my domain and DNS, all that boring stuff. I fixed it. It's taken care of now. So I'm going to assume that's why I had no emails and not because no one's listening. But if you guys would like to reach out to me, definitely please feel free to hit me up. Again, you can hit me up at Xavion at the XavionFactor.com. I'm also on Twitter and TikTok. I'll repeat that again at the end. So this week, take a little break from some normal content. We are gonna do a quick movie review for this week, as well as sort of talk through some kind of sports news. For those of you that don't know, I am a huge Jets fan, and there's been some stuff going on. We're in this off season, trying to trying to keep a positive note. I think we had a solid year last year, but it was not. It fell well short of the expectation. Well, I don't know. Maybe expectations started off really low. I can't say it fell short of the expectations. They kind of overachieved at the beginning, but kind of fell right back to where I think everyone thought they were, with just 7 wins. So they had 7 wins in their first 10 games, and then ended up losing their last 6. So it was they ended up losing 6 of their last 7. So it was a rough ending to the season. So we'll talk about what's going on with them a little bit and whatnot. Actually, I think we can start there. Let's talk about the Jets, and for those of you that are sports fans, you'll probably find this interesting. I do have a hot take. We'll take a look at what's available, what the options are, what do we think is going to happen, and then talk about where I think we can go. So as we all know, the Super Bowl was a couple of weeks ago, and that marks the official end of the season for the football season, I guess. I don't know, for 2022, I guess. So firmly moving into the 2023 off season. The official league year doesn't start for another few weeks, a couple of weeks, I think, the 14th or somewhere around then. So that's when you can start, making some free agent signings and make trades official and things like that. But the off season has so far been in full effect, with a whole bunch of drama surrounding certain folks. It's always, the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks are always the driving force of the league. They're the ones that get that bring the money in. They're the ones that get the games won. You don't have a quarterback, you're at a huge disadvantage. And so the Jets are one of those teams that are at one of those huge disadvantages. They thought they fixed the problem the year before last, drafting Zach Wilson, but that turned out to so far not be a very good option or decision. I don't know if it's a good decision or bad decision, but so far it looks like it's not worked out well for them or Zach Wilson. So moving into this year, the Jets are looking for a quarterback. And it's very important that they do get a quarterback, because if you look at their season last year, Their season, as I mentioned, started off really well. Then they lost a couple of players um, off the strength of their. The season started off well off the strength of their running game and being able to have such dynamic rookies on their teams. Jets had an amazing draft last year, drafting Sauce Gardner at number 4 overall, and then drafting number 10 overall, Garrett Wilson, and then actually trading back into the first round and picking up Jermaine Johnson, who didn't exactly light the world on fire, but still was a pretty solid contributor, especially with if you think about the number of edge defenders that the Jets had last year. And then factor in who was probably the best pick, rookie Brees Hall. And you can tell the Jets had a good year because they had the offensive and defensive rookies of the year. And I'm pretty sure if Brees Hall had not gone down, he probably would have been the offensive player or offensive rookie of the year. So it's a pretty good draft when your first 4 picks end up that way. And they were huge contributors towards. I mean, Sauce was was an All-Pro, Pro Bowler, defensive rookie of the year. He was PFF's highest rated cornerback, so they got some solid pieces around. And really, where they really struggled was being able to pass the ball effectively and efficiently, consistently. And that's due to the struggles of Zach Wilson. And then in turn, after Zach Wilson was benched, Mike White took over. And then there were still struggles. They were moving the ball a little bit better, but they still struggled to score. Now you could say that was on part because of the offensive coordinator, Mike LaFleur, or you could say it was a failure by the rest of the team, but because of how well they were doing earlier in the year. But yeah, when you lose your top rusher and your top offensive lineman, and then you have several other offensive linemen go down, it's going to be a rough year. Especially again when you don't have stellar quarterback play. The Jets started like 6 tackles throughout the year. So they had like 4 tackles go on injured reserve at some point during the year. So it was a rough year for the Jets offensive line. All that to be said, obviously the priority in the offseason was to find a quarterback to sort of be a plug-in piece to take that next step. The Jets haven't made the playoffs in 12 years. Last time they were in the playoffs was especially wonderful year. Made it to the AFC Championship game and fell just short. So that was 2010, 2011 off season, or 2011 postseason, 2010 season. And they were for sure making the playoffs midway through the season, and then again, as I said, just fell apart. Even up until week 17, I think they still had a chance to make the playoffs, and just couldn't pull it out the way they needed to. So all of that being said, the Jets need a quarterback, and if you look at the free agent market, there's a few names out there, but the top of the list names that keep coming up, and I said this well early last year, before any of the sort of drama surrounding him came about, but I said that if the Jets had a quarterback like Derek Carr, they would have definitely been in the playoffs. They definitely would be a top contender within the AFC. Not that Derek Carr is a superstar or anything like that, but he is a quarterback that can put together solid passing numbers and get the ball to the receivers and players and playmakers that the Jets do have on their team, to be able to force teams to kind of have to play not necessarily just the run or just a single receiver, but to have to actually account for the dynamic nature of a quarterback like Derek Carr. Especially, when you're dealing with someone like Zach Wilson, who you don't really have to fear. So I said this early in the season when Zach Wilson, was struggling in his like fourth or fifth game. Even in his games that he did start before that he did win, he was struggling a bit, but the talent around him kind of masked it. So the Jets have a pretty good team that all you need is a solid to above solid quarterback play that could put you in the a level playing field with the rest of the conference, so to speak. So now we find out Derek Carr is a free agent. He gets released for whatever reason. Josh McDaniels is Josh McDanieling. And so the Raiders decide to move on from Carr. And I love the beauty. I love no trade clauses. They're such a beautiful thing because it allows the player to kind of force the team's hand. So I think the team definitely would have loved to have traded Carr, but with everyone understanding that they weren't going to keep Carr, and then realizing that Carr not having having a no trade clause, he would have to okay any trade that they wanted to do. I think teams mess up when they let it be known that they don't want a player. No one's going to trade for a player that they know they're going to release. I mean, unless they're super, super, super desperate and want to try to beat someone else to the market or. But when you have a no trade clause, that's not helping any because it's basically like the player's a free agent anyway, and he still has to choose you. So yeah, I think Derek Carr is doing his due diligence in deciding where he wants to play. I don't think the Jets are a bad fit for him. It's a pretty solid team and could make a run. Now, I know what you're all thinking. What about the big rumor all we keep hearing about, especially in Jets fan circles, is Aaron Rodgers. The Jets to Aaron Rodgers. Xavion, wouldn't you love that? Wouldn't you love to have one of the top quarterbacks in the last 15 years to come to your team and lead your team to the playoffs and possibly a Super Bowl? Well, I'm going to give you a hot take. There's a few options that I would have above Aaron Rodgers, above trading for Aaron Rodgers to come and play quarterback for the New York Jets. I'd rather, one, obviously have Derek Carr. He's, first of all, you don't have to trade for him. He comes for all you have to do is pay money, which, hey, it's not my money. It's Woody Johnson's money. If he has it, let him spend it, and let's move on and put together a better team. Secondly, what I would do over over trading for Aaron Rodgers, I would trade for the number one overall pick. I'd rather take my chances with a rookie than Aaron Rodgers. And I'm going to get into more detail in just a moment. But yes, I would definitely call the Bears up, see what they want for a first overall pick, because I would definitely take that. I'd be okay with trading for that. What else would I do over taking or trading for Aaron Rodgers? Trade for Dak Prescott. Trade for a couple other players. I'll be honest, I'd take Mike White again over Aaron Rodgers if we have to trade for him. And here's the reason why. One, Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to put personality aside. Aaron Rodgers kind of irks me with his his nature, just some of the things he does and says, and his behavior or whatnot. It kind of irks me, but put that aside. I'm not. That's not a reason or a good enough reason for me to say like, no, we can't use a player like that. What I think is the biggest thing is that how much is Aaron Rodgers going to cost you? I've seen a lot of talk about him. Like when this first started, it was a ridiculous number of 2 first-round picks to get Aaron Rodgers. There's no way I'm giving that up. Or sorry, it was 2 picks at least. There's no way I'm saying the Jets should give up 2 first-round picks. Right now, the Jets have a young, solid core, and they have to, they have them for a good amount, like the last 2 drafts, basically, and some free agents that are here for 2 to 3 years. And what you want to do is try to maximize what you have already. And if you start trying to, let's trade 2 first-round picks for Aaron Rodgers, then you get Aaron Rodgers. The most you're probably getting him is 2 years. 2 years if you're lucky. So if you take Aaron Rodgers, who, by the way, is not the Aaron Rodgers from a couple of years ago when he won MVPs back to back. He had a down year, and I know when people say, "Oh, his receiving core was not that great, not that special." Well, let me tell you something. Aaron Rodgers' receiving core was never that great. Like, yes, he had Devontae Adams, but it was not like he was throwing to all these great first-round picks. I feel like a lot of people forget that Aaron Rodgers was throwing to, third-round picks, fourth-round picks, second-round picks. It's not like these guys were like, ever. The only one of them who you could say was probably top of the food chain as a wide receiver, or like was labeled as one of the best wide receivers, would be Devontae Adams. And I think they had just a lot of great chemistry with each other from playing with each other, with playing in Green Bay together. And so, like, it's not like saying Aaron Rodgers, his receivers weren't that great, I think is sort of kind of telling as well, because, Aaron Rodgers, it was always said that, Aaron Rodgers makes his receivers, this good. Like, he builds the chemistry and whatnot with his receivers, and, he makes, he makes the talent better around him. And that's one of the reasons why you're getting him, right? He's makes the talent around you, around the team better. And so if you have to give up a first-round pick for someone who is not as good as he was, someone that you're probably not going to have long, all you have is basically 1 year that you're going to try to use him to get to. I mean, the ultimate goal is to win the Super Bowl, right? I mean, the goal isn't like, okay, let's get Aaron Rodgers so we can make the playoffs. No, let's get Aaron Rodgers so we can go to the Super Bowl. It's like, let's get let's trade a first-round pick, 2 first-round picks, 3 first-round picks, first and the second, the first and a couple of players for Aaron Rodgers, because you're trying to make the Super Bowl. Now, my thing is, if you're trying to make the Super Bowl, do you think you have a better shot of doing it in 1 year? And remind you, it's a new year a first year, 1 year with a new team that he still has to get used to. New coordinator. Well, I guess the coordinator. We'll talk about that. The Jets did sign Nathaniel Hackett to be the offensive coordinator, and Nathaniel Hackett does have some history with Aaron Rodgers. He was the offensive coordinator for him and a coach with him for Green Bay for a little bit, and they're said to have had a good relationship. I think everyone took that as a sign that the Jets were going to go hard after Aaron Rodgers. It is something I could definitely believe, because Nathaniel Hackett was not inspiring confidence. I'd rather have Paul Hackett back, just based off of Nathaniel's performance and record. He did get a pretty good performance out of Blake Bortles in Jacksonville a few years ago. But overall, he doesn't have a truly awe-inspiring record or resume when it comes to building a great offense or anything like that. So all that to say, I think Aaron Rodgers, while he may be an option that could give you a small window to try to take advantage of, I think it'll be a waste, especially if you have to trade for him. Now, I'm all for grabbing Aaron Rodgers if he comes as a free agent. It's one of the benefits he does offer. Well, supposedly one of the benefits he does offer is being able to help Zach Wilson, because Zach Wilson does have a sort of similar play style and attitude. Maybe if there's anyone that can get through to him is Aaron Rodgers, who supposedly Zach Wilson grew up watching. But I don't know if we can count on that. I'm not sure how good of a coach or a mentor Aaron Rodgers is. It hasn't been shown or proven yet. We'll find out maybe at some point. And, I think he does provide you, like I said, a great sort of solid to above solid quarterback presence that the Jets could use. The problem is again, you'll have him for only a time period. And then, so let's say you go out there, you get Aaron Rodgers, and he plays 1 year with you, and you don't make it to the playoffs or you don't make the Super Bowl. What happens then? He retires. He goes to request to be somewhere else or something, and then you're back in the same position that you were in previously. At least if you were to draft a quarterback or sign Derek Carr, you have multiple chances to try to get it right. I wouldn't mind drafting a quarterback, especially a quarterback like Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young is someone that could come in and play a solid quarterback and maybe lead the Jets, especially with the young team that they have, the young playmakers like a Breece Hall, like a Garrett Wilson, like a Elijah Moore. And you could lead. He could definitely put the ball in their hands and play sound football. And then I think he gives you that young rookie quarterback options. So we'll see. I don't know. But yeah, so if it was my hot take, I'm not going after Aaron Rodgers unless somehow the Packers cut him and he becomes a free agent. He'd be much more attractive to me, but I'm not wanting to give up future assets, especially the ones you'll need after a couple of years if Aaron Rodgers is gone. So you give up 2 first-round picks, and then Aaron Rodgers is gone after 1 year. He doesn't even get to play with those first-round picks. So yeah, I just think it's a smarter move to go Derek Carr. Let him play his solid quarterback play. Use the team around him. I think if you coach him up well, because the thing is, Derek Carr has never played with a really great team. He hasn't had a solid defense. I think, shockingly, they said he's never played with a defense higher than 20th, and I think 20th was only 1 year. For most of the years, they were in the bottom 5 defenses. So I think that is very telling. And I think with a solid defense, all you have to do is, the Jets had a really good defense. They were holding some good teams to some low scores, and even some of the scores that they were having at some of the teams that scored higher on the Jets were because the offense put them in bad positions. So we'll see. Anyway, so that being said, we'll go ahead and move on into talking about movie news. So I went this week to the movies, my second week in the row going to the movies, and I got to watch the movie Cocaine Bear. I was really excited for this movie. I'm really excited for a lot of movies that's coming up because this is a sort of a weird, not weird, but a really good run of movies for that are coming out each week. So let's say last week I went to go see Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So that was the 17th. This week I saw Cocaine Bear. Next week is Creed. The week after that, it's the new Scream movie. The The week after that, Shazam. The week after that's John Wick. Then the week after that, I don't know. I can't think of anything that's coming out after that. I think that new Dungeons and Dragons movie, which does not look great at all, comes out that the 31st, and then the next week, April 7th, that's my birthday, and then Super Mario Brothers comes out. I really do want to see that. Looks pretty good and entertaining and fun. Maybe I'll take the kiddos to see that one, but I'll definitely be there. So it's a pretty good run of movies, and then you have some more stuff coming out shortly after that, and May and June summer blockbusters. The Flash movie is my most anticipated movie I think for this year, that I could think of offhand. That trailer got me super excited. What was it, last week or the week before, day of the Super Bowl. So I can't wait to see that one. But yeah, I'm gonna try to keep this review pretty quick. I did see Cocaine Bear this weekend, and it was a solid movie. It was really good. It was exactly what I expected it to be. It didn't disappoint, and I'll give you a story. So I had no idea about this movie until I was sitting down watching a trailer for the movie. I don't know what trailer I was watching, and then I saw that they popped up on Twitter a trailer for Cocaine Bear, and I was like, "What the heck?" I mean, it's a movie called Cocaine Bear. I had to look at it and find out what the heck it was, what it was about. So I go and I play the trailer, and then cut to 2 minutes later, my face is just like, if you could see, like, it's shocked face, like what did I just watch? I don't know, but it was probably one of the most exhilarating trailers of my life, because I immediately said I need to see this movie, just based off of that trailer. And it's the only trailer that I've seen for the movie, and I knew from that first time I saw that trailer I was going to watch this movie. It just had so much like craziness going on inside of it. It was super exciting, and then it's based on a true story, or based on true events, I should say, because that was one of the things I did read up on it. So let's get into the trailer. So this movie was a good movie. So you're exactly talking about what I expect. So the movie does start off a little bit slow. I know I know the people that have seen the movie will disagree with me. Oh, by the way, I'm not sure if there's spoilers or not, but I'll mark this as a spoiler trailer because I'm not going to hold anything back from it. But yeah, so the movie starts off talking about, hey, this thing that happened, this true events, in 1985, I believe was the year. So the movie starts off. There's this guy dumping cocaine out of a plane, dumping a whole lot of cocaine too, like in red bags. And then he goes to jump out the plane. And he hits his head as he's getting out the plane, and then parachute. Basically, guy falls to his death. Strapped with cocaine, lands in somebody's driveway. You're seeing the news story, so it's so watching that part, you're thinking, okay, this movie's starting off crazy already. But then it gets to there's like a bear attack in the woods, and this is already after the bear has become the titular cocaine bear. And first thing I want to say is this movie is hilarious. It is definitely a funny movie. Not in like it's like a million jokes a minute, sort of like trying too hard kind of way. It's just in a sort of as organic as a movie can be, funny about a bear that snorts cocaine or eats and snorts cocaine. Um, so it's a lot of humor. It's very strong in that way, and and like I said, it's organic. It doesn't feel forced at all when there are humorous parts, and it's not like it's um, effortlessly. It just feels like it's effortlessly trying to be funny. And then next thing I kind of want to talk about is sort of the cocaine bear itself. So it's obviously a CGI bear. Um, it does. I mean, I don't think there's any scene in the movie. If there's one thing I could sort of criticize is that I don't think there was one scene where I felt like, oh, this is a real bear. Not that it looks cartoony, but it kind of looks sort of exaggerated. I don't know. I've never been up close to any bears or anything, but it just you could tell the difference between looking at a bear on National Geographic and seeing this bear in the movie. It just kind of feels um, like I don't know. If you guys saw the Jungle Book, it kind of looks like that Baloo from the Jungle Book. If Baloo was a cocaine snorting coke addict, but no, as I said, the characters in this movie are they're coming fast and furious. You have so many different actors and actresses, and so many different people that come together to make this film. This was Ray Liotta's I think, last finished film that he made prior to his death. And he has a medium-sized role in this. He plays the main antagonist. If you want, I guess, I don't know, maybe the bear is the main antagonist, but I think when you watch it, you'll find out that, or you'll be with me in saying that Ray Liotta is the main antagonist for the movie. Um, but this movie is just extreme in all cases. Sorry, I know I'm moving around a bit, but want to try to not belabor everything. So let's talk about the casting. You have Kerry Russell in this. You have Jesse Tyler Ferguson. You have O'Shea Jackson, or Ice Cube's son. Um, you have Isaiah Whitlock from The Wire. So I always love when Wire actors and actresses make their appearance in other movies and TV series. You also have a couple of children actors who were pretty decent, especially the little boy that's in this movie. I really liked him. I thought he was one, super hilarious, super cute. I guess the word is cute, but it's just not precocious, but it's just a nice character. Who else am I missing? Kerry Russell, Ray Liotta. You said, yeah, Margot Martindale plays a park ranger. Pretty good performance there as well. Like I said, this movie is funny without trying too hard. Margot Martindale's character was a good example of that. She's just sort of a woman trying to get through her day and sort of max out on what she can. So all that to say, the cast is really good. Everyone's doing some good things. Oh, I forgot one of the other main cast members, Alden Ehrenreich, the guy that played Solo in the Star Wars Solo movie. He was in this as well. He plays Ray Liotta's son in the movie, and he has a pretty decent role. I think the top characters, though, the ones that you kind of gravitate towards the most is probably O'Shea Jackson's character, and maybe the boy that I was mentioning previously. and then the bear as well, because the bear is its own character throughout this movie as well. This movie is definitely a hard R. The grotesqueness and uh, vulgarness of the sort of the bear attacks are really good. Like not in it's weird to say because it was like very gory and extreme, but it wasn't like turn your head away like this is awful, except for maybe one scene. I don't know if I should. I guess I don't know. Well, the one scene where Margot Martindale's character is falling out of the ambulance, what I'll say, um, was one of those moments where you're like, ooh, like that might have been too much, but um, yeah, but everyone is like it's like this gross grotesqueness or graphic, I should say, violence, but it's not to the point where it's more funny versus horrifying, so to speak. Um, I think Isaiah Whitlock is pretty entertaining in this movie as well. There's a whole standoff scene between him and O'Shea Jackson's character, as well as the bear, the titular cocaine bear. Um, the score, the music, the soundtrack, the score was pretty good. Again, it has a pretty '80s feel, but it did also feel like the movie itself. Like it didn't feel like dated though. Like you watch some of the movies that take place in some of these timepieces, and it feels like it's dated. But this movie didn't feel that dated as well. Felt like you could have changed the time period and put it in today. You don't think anything would have really made a difference or changed anything at all. It's pretty interesting sort of dynamic that they've had. And then again, like I said, they tried to they based it off real events where this really did happen, where someone did try to do a cocaine drop and fell to his death, and a bear got to the cocaine. But unlike in the movie, this bear died shortly after his cocaine bender. And so it's just from. I mean, if you imagine like this bear had actually lived, you could imagine like this is a bear roided up on cocaine. He's going out after everyone, and taking them out in the most vicious and violent ways. And it's a fun movie. That's all I can say. It's a very fun time. If you're not sensitive to extreme violence or vulgarities like language and whatnot, I think it is a solid movie and a fun time that you'll enjoy. It's not again, like I said, it's not something that feels like they were trying too hard. And I guess I should mention that the director of this movie is Elizabeth Banks. It feels different than what I think Elizabeth Banks' style is a little bit. It does feel really, I don't know, it feels more relaxed versus something like a Pitch Perfect, like Pitch Perfect 2 or 3. I'm not sure. I think she directed that. Maybe not. Maybe I know she was one of the producers and writers on Pitch Perfect. I love the first Pitch Perfect. The second and third ones are I could leave them. Um, but I haven't seen her Charlie's Angels movie. But this movie does make me want to go back and watch that, even though I know it didn't get the best reviews. But I really like this. I thought she did a fine job. The cinematography is great. Um, I wish I probably do want to see it again. I'll probably wait till it does start streaming somewhere because when I was in the theater, I don't know what's gotten into me, but all of a sudden, I do feel like I get to 9 o'clock and I'm pretty much no good to anyone. So this is one of those movies I did sneak out after 9 o'clock to go watch, and I was like halfway tired. My eyes are drying out seeing it. But once the movie started going, it did sort of wake me up a little bit. As I said, it starts off a little slow, like it doesn't get too crazy until like the second act, and then it's basically to the wall from that second act forward. The final third act kind of feels a little bit rushed to a resolution, but it still works for me. I think there's some things that could have been tightened up a little bit better, like some character arcs that could have been closed out a little bit better. Namely, speaking about Isaiah Whitlock's character. I don't really know if that's a character arc, but just how they left his character was kind of like there was a question, so to speak, around it. And then his partner, she, sort of felt underused a little bit when that came up. So I think there are a little bit of things there that could be one. But overall, I say this is a B movie, maybe B minus. But it is. I did have a fun time, enjoyable time watching it. I think I would have even better time watching it again with other people. And I do think this is a thumbs up movie, and you guys should check it out. It's Cocaine Bear is now playing in theaters. I'm not gonna say everywhere because I don't know. But yeah, those are my thoughts. So this is going to be a shorter episode, as I mentioned at the top. I know I said that last week, and it kind of went a little bit over. But yeah, this week I was definitely focused on keeping it shorter. If you have, let me know if you've seen the movie. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think? If you're a Jets fan, hit me up. Let me know your thoughts. Tell me how wrong I am about and how I should be so excited about Aaron Rodgers. You can hit me up at Xavion at the XavionFactor.com. You can also reach me on Twitter. I'm at PR1MEX. You can also find me on TikTok, the Xavion Factor. Also, check out my website. It's thexavionfactor.com. Leave me some reviews. Share this podcast with your friends and folks. Tell people about it. Let me know what you think. I would love to hear it. It does help me out to grow my podcast and my content, and push me to keep continuing to do this and put out more content. I appreciate you all listening. I hope you have a wonderful day.